Is it happening?
I think it's happening.
It's happening. We're live. It's Tuesday. You're watching Popped. How you doing? How you doing, Keith?
I am good once I confirm all the computer stuff is working.
You know what? We are live on Facebook, and that's what matters. The last
Perfect.
time we tried to do this,
We had the Nintendo Bros on.
we did have the Nintendo Bros on. Neil and Travis were with us, and they were put together a really awesome show, but unfortunately only YouTube was our friend that night.
Yes, but that's a good point. We do have a YouTube.
We do have a YouTube. Go ahead and look for us. We don't have enough followers to have a cool vanity URL yet, but we will one day with your help. We are Popped Show pretty much everywhere. If you are watching us live right now on Tuesday night, it is facebook.com/popshow. We're live. You know, there's a good chance
on Tuesday. If it's a Tuesday and you're like, hey, I wonder if Pop's live, go to facebook.com/popshow.
There's a decent chance.
And there's a decent chance we'll be online. If not, we'll have plenty of links for you to read in the meantime, and we'll give you a reason of why we're not on.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up and a review while you're there if you're feeling really generous. And if you just can't get enough and it's one of our weeks off, like next week because of the holiday, you can download our awesome podcast all the way back in time on Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play, and iTunes.
Jeez, it's almost July, isn't it?
It is almost July. Next week is July 3rd. We will be celebrating, and we hope you will be too. But in the meantime, let's talk about some pop culture. What have you done this week in pop culture, Keith? I know the answer because I was with you.
For most of it,
but,
yeah. I'd say you've been there for most of it.
Share with our awesome fans.
Let's see. What have I been doing in pop culture? We watched Luke Cage.
We did.
We watched something else too.
Westworld.
I'm still very befuddled by all the stuff they've got going on there.
Yeah, a lot to unpack with Westworld. We're not, I've read like 5 synopses since we're not going to spoil it. But even if we did, we would probably be wrong and we wouldn't be making any sense. So
yeah, it's true. It's actually quite valid.
Let us know if you actually know what happened. We should warn our followers on Facebook right now that there might be spoilers. But like I said,
I don't think there'll be spoilers. Would
it make any sense if there were?
It's true. That's very true.
I really like Westworld, and I've seen a lot of complaints. I saw an article today that talked about, I think I saw it on Pop Show on Facebook, that talked about there was a steep drop off between the season 2 premiere and the finale. It was like a 25% drop off or something crazy.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
I think that was the link I sent you offline.
Oh, maybe it was. But we finished this season of Westworld.
Spoiler free.
Right. Well, when we finished the first season, we were like, I can't believe I have to wait like 18 months or something insane like that. Yeah. And now I'm kind of like, well, I don't really know where I stand in this world, or where anybody stands in this world, or if anybody is standing, or if anybody is a person. Like, there's just really no telling.
Yeah.
But Jessica's giving us a big thumbs up. She and her sweetie were probably watching Luke Cage as well. What do you think of Luke Cage so far?
We haven't finished it.
We have not finished it.
It's slower than the first season. I don't think it's bad. I've been seeing a lot of people say it's the worst season of like of Marvel Netflix shows. It's like the worst.
They think it's worse than Iron Fist?
That's what I've been reading. I also don't think Iron Fist is that bad.
Yeah, I didn't hate Iron Fist either.
I don't think this season's that bad either. I think it's just more of a slow burner. I think it's more about character development and interactions with all these different characters, the very colorful characters. And I'm spending most of the season trying to figure out Jamaican accents. There
is a lot. I almost think about turning on the subtitles sometimes, just because I do get lost in the accent.
Let me know, because I've wondered that same thing.
If I am watching them, then I can unpack what they're saying.
Right.
But if I'm distracted by my phone or something else, then I'm not quite.
Which happens.
Right. Of course it does. But yeah. So Jess says she's about halfway, and it is slower, but she likes the development of Bushmaster. I do too. Mm-hmm. And I think that this season,
it's very personal.
It's very personal, and I think that it won't quite have that same break. Like the first season of Luke Cage, we could say, I really like the first half. The second half, like, we didn't need that.
Right.
And this, I'm hoping that they'll keep up with Bushmaster the whole way. And it kind of plays with that, like, enemy of my enemy kind of thing.
Because there's a lot of different angles and players in this giant fight that is this season, essentially, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people vying for control and power, and alliances are flipping, and you're not really sure who's doing what and who's trusting who and who's got ulterior motives. So
yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's you know, I will say that at this stage I was more impressed with the music, but there's such a high bar for the music in Luke Cage because I was just like, I thought they knocked it out of the park with the first season.
I'm not gonna lie, I already ordered the second season on
it's
vinyl.
Great. And the little like musical cameos I think are fabulous, and everybody who's performed at the Harlem Paradise Club has been like freaking outstanding.
That's my biggest criticism with the soundtrack so far. I ordered the soundtrack on vinyl, but it's mostly minus 2 or 3 songs. It's mostly the score. It's the background stuff, excuse me.
Right.
And the first season's soundtrack was like this too, as far as the vinyl version. The digital version actually had these other songs, the Harlem Paradise songs, but the second season vinyl, I don't think the second season digital has it either. They don't have the songs by like, what is it? Kingfish, he blew me out of the park. He's like 19.
Yeah.
Big dude.
How
Voice
about
does not match his
talent?
Body at all, but it is the smoothest voice. And Joe Gosman's watching, so I'm going to give him a little shout out. It's smoother than Joe Gosman's voice. That's how smooth this voice is.
What? I can't even imagine that reality.
Exactly. And Gary Clark Jr., who we're both big fans of, he was on there and killed it. And his stuff isn't on there. And I know it's probably licensing things and that kind of stuff. But if I'm going to get a soundtrack, I want a complete soundtrack.
Do you know how I get around that? I know you're not going to like this answer.
Spotify. Yeah, I know. I don't have Wi-Fi all the time.
I know.
If I had, a dedicated Wi-Fi, I would. Like if it's around the house, sure, I might throw it on the speakers and jam out.
Have downloading possibilities. Just saying.
Yeah, but my phone. Let's be honest, my phone's like at 16 gigs.
Yeah, I know. It's true. You have to delete text messages in order to get some songs. But yeah. So Luke Cage has been really awesome. I started The Staircase.
Okay, nice.
I only got 1 episode in, and the problem is that I get the primary like the shows I don't watch with you, I watch on the treadmill, and I have not been on the treadmill because I ran my marathon and I'm sort of done with the treadmill for a while.
Right.
But
doing other exercises.
Yeah, I'm doing other things. But like once I get back to the treadmill,
right, it'll be on.
Well,
and we also got Glow coming out next week.
Yep, Glow, the first show we Netflix cheated on each other with.
That's very true. And also, we're talking TV stuff, but there's actually a big video game that came out this weekend too, Mario Aces.
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun with that.
We did have a lot of fun with that.
Miles and a coworker of mine, Walter, came over.
Walter,
yes, Walter, and they came over, and we had a lot of fun, mainly trying to figure out the movement controls on this one because it's not as intuitive as it was previously with the Wii.
Yeah, it's
and
really
so
easy
you
to
do a
overshoot.
movement and it just off to the corner. But it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that. We pulled out Smash Brothers in anticipation of Smash Brothers Ultimate, which Neil and Travis talked about in their E3 roundup or rundown, I guess. Available on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
That's right.
And then what else did we do with? We played Overcooked.
We played Overcooked.
If you guys want a fun game, like there's a lot of multiplayer games out there, and they're all what's the word? They're all like online multiplayer. So you can't have just like 4 friends over like we did and play a game together. Overcooked is probably one of the most fun games outside of Smash and Mario Party that I've had playing a couch co-op.
I die laughing, and it's
weak.
like it's chaos. But it's so much fun. It sounds awful. The premise is you're working in a restaurant, which most of us have worked in restaurants, and we're like, that was awful. I never want to go back to that.
These are practical restaurants, though.
But yeah, it's really funny.
Why is a restaurant on top of a nice shelf thingy? So,
oh, it looks like Neil is online posting his pops.
Oh, Neil, you got to make sure you convert that little...
Neil, switch your account there, friend.
Yeah. So, yeah, but as Neil said... Yeah, there you go. So... As Neil was putting here in the Facebook comments under Popped, because he's not used to being a new admin on the page, the tennis mechanics in Aces are fantastic this time around. Single player is a little empty, though. We actually had fun with... I had fun with single player. It was... A lot of people are mad because it's not just straight tennis. There's more Mario Party kind of challenges to it, I think, which make it more fun. And it's not just tennis all the time, but I can see why the complaints are.
Well, it kind of forces you to learn the skills.
Yeah, it does. But something nobody ever complains about... Greg from Local Heroes, how you doing, man?
Popped.
Greg.
Hi, Greg.
How you doing, man?
What's up?
Not much. How about you?
How are you guys?
It's been a little while.
Doing really well.
Good.
I know I missed your show. I missed talking to you. It's just a hole in my heart.
I still came in last week and spent plenty of money on comics.
You really did, and I always appreciate it, and it always makes me happy to see you.
Likewise, sir. You guys have got. I like seeing you. I like seeing your lovely staff, and just picking up new comics, getting new things to read, and adding to my stack of books that I am super far behind on.
You and me both, sir.
Yeah. So, without further ado, before we get to Greg's picks of the weeks, let's do this.
Oh yeah, the theme song. Comes with Greg. 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 Comes with Greg.
Oh man, that's a little rough today.
Yeah, that is a little rough.
We've got a lot going on this computer.
Did
so I
you
think
forget
it's a little...
to make the sacrifice to the internet gods?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's a little rough today. Sorry, guys. Computer can only do so much. We're working on a limited budget here, folks. So I guess we could do a Patreon, but
we're not.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Greg, what you got for us?
It's all Marvel this week. I
noticed that.
I don't know that I say that often, but
must be impressive.
Making decent comics again. I'm really kind of happy about it.
Good. Well, what's first of the 3 Marvel books for this week?
Let's go with Multiple Man, number 1.
Okay.
This book, they actually sent an advance copy of, which they don't do that often, and I really enjoyed it. I like Multiple Man, Jamie Madrox from X Factor. Mm-hmm. I really liked when Peter David wrote him in X Factor 10 or so years ago. It's got that kind of a vibe. It's got a bunch of superheroes in it. It's a miniseries, and the first issue was a lot of fun. And it's a fun character, so Multiple Man, number 1 tomorrow.
Awesome. Okay. And I think there's been talk of a movie coming out with him. There was some James Franco talk, if I remember right. I
do remember that.
Sounds familiar. I don't know.
He's a fun character.
Yeah. All right. Well, that should be fun. I like picking up these side characters that aren't mainstream anymore. It's a little more fun. I get enough Thor, Iron Man, and all them in my movies. So if I can get someone a little different, I might check that out.
Speaking of Thor, if you're unlike Keith and you still enjoy reading him in comic book form, Thor has been consistently good with Jason Aaron writing it for the last 5 years or so. It just relaunched 2 weeks ago with Thor number 1. Thor number 2 comes out tomorrow. If you've been at all interested in Thor comic books, this is a good time. We still have number 1, number 2 tomorrow, and this is the end of his run. And I'm sure he's gonna go out big. So this is a good series.
Yeah,
Thor number 2 out tomorrow.
I think when you had Thor 1 out, I think when Thor 1 came out, you were also pushing that one as well. So this must be a strong series.
I love Jason Aaron. I think he writes really good comics, especially Southern Bastards, which, by the way, has a new collection tomorrow. I just really like his superhero work. So he does a good job.
Okay, cool. What's the third and final on the list here?
The last book tomorrow is The Century number 1, written by Jeff Lemire, who writes all the good comics, Gideon Falls, Descender, Sweet Tooth, Thanos. He is writing The Century, who's a really kind of a weird character. He's mentally not all there, and he's a superhero, and he has a lot of power, which is really cool. I'm excited to see what Jeff does for this book. I haven't read this one yet, but I'm a huge fan of his work and just about everything he writes. And This is a good character. And again, like you were saying, kind of a side character. So this should be a fun book. Century number 1 tomorrow.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned he wrote the Thanos book, I guess the most recent Thanos run.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed that Thanos run, so maybe I might check this Century book out then.
He's great. I really like him.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else is great, who I'm really excited to hear from tonight?
Who's that?
Bob Frantz.
Oh,
that guy.
Yes.
Not only is he extremely good-looking, I mean, like really good-looking, especially for an older gentleman, but I feel like he would be a really great comic book store owner, and I think he should open his own comic book store.
He really
so
should.
Mention that to him when you talk to him.
I will make sure to tell him it was a direct message from Greg at Local Heroes, and he'd be like, who? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, you've actually got some of his previous books in there, right?
Yeah. He's a great guy. I love him. He's really nice, and I think he would be just the best comic book store owner. So
yeah, he really would be.
Talk him into it.
I will do my best. I know he's busy writing stuff, which is why we're having him on the show. But him and Kevin Cuffe are coming on to talk about Metalshark here in a bit. And
Bro.
Yes, Metalshark Bro. Excuse me, I got to do the full title. And
I need to back that, by the way. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, not a problem. It starts next week. We'll let Bob.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll let Bob and Kevin talk about that in the next 15 minutes or so. So make sure to keep watching, Greg. But yeah, no, I'm going to back it as well. And I don't know. You can be able to. I don't know with it being Kickstarter this time because like previously, you've had like Monty and all of his other books in the store. Are you going to be able to put this one in the store since it's a Kickstarter? Like, how's that going to work technically?
A lot of Kickstarters have retailer levels, and if he has one, I'd be happy to support it at that level. So
awesome.
Maybe you can talk him into that too.
Okay, cool. Well, I will do my best to talk him into it. And I actually hear, spoiler alert, he's going to be in town the next week or so. So I might have to get him to come in the shop and sign some things.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Well, where can they pick up all these fine books that you've suggested, sir?
Local Heroes in Norfolk, 1905 Colonial Avenue in Ghent. It's a really, really nice store that smells like Windex on occasion. So please come out and enjoy all of our cleaning products. And while you're there, buy a comic book.
Yeah, well, you keep it clean in there, man.
On a related note, windows, spotless, can see right through.
Well, and he's got a very big storefront window.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So, you can see all the cool collectibles he's got that I spent plenty of money on. Some of the stuff you see here in the Popped Cave, most of it came from Local Heroes. A good amount of it.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
you guys are the best.
Happy to help, man. Good talking to you. And remind me to talk to you tomorrow. I've got a trivia idea I want to run by you. And I'm telling you now because, A, I'm unprofessional. And B, I'm probably going to forget if I don't tell you now. So
also, spoilers for our amazing future.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that too. Well, I just left it at trivia. I didn't say it was about Popped trivia or possibly doing something at Toast or us hosting things or helping out. I just left it at trivia. You're the one who spoiled it. Anyways,
I did spoil it. I did.
Greg, I will talk to you tomorrow, sir, and I will see you tomorrow as well.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, man. You too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I miss Greg already.
I know. If you ever leave me, it's going to be for Greg.
It might be. Greg's pretty awesome. He's already got his own comic book store. I'm so far behind on all the comics. Are you reading anything now, actually? Because we actually haven't really talked comics in a while.
I'm not. I am reading a novel. And I'm not even...
pictures in this novel?
No.
I'm bored.
And there aren't even any, and I'm not even... It's a good book. I just haven't really committed. I don't know. I haven't had the mental dedication to it so far, so...
Understandable.
Yeah, I've kind of been in and out of reading lately. I've been listening to podcasts.
Okay.
Cool kids listen to podcasts.
Ouch. Oh, I used to listen to podcasts more regularly. I just, don't have much time
cool
anymore.
Kids listen to us. I'm complimenting our amazing... I thought you were saying
me because I don't listen to podcasts much anymore.
Our amazing fans and viewers.
Yeah, we got a lot of people on tonight. So, what were we talking about? Mario Aces.
Yeah, we're talking about Mario Aces. We're talking about Overcooked.
We've got a few things coming up in about 10 minutes here. So if you guys are watching live, just hang on for a few more minutes while we fill time. Or if you're listening to the podcast, fast forward about 10 more minutes. We got Kevin Cuffe and Bob Frantz. I'm probably pronouncing Kevin's last name wrong because I haven't met him yet. To talk about their Kickstarter coming up here in a few minutes. And then we've got Mark Gagliardi of Drunk History and Thrilling Adventure Hour and all sorts of other stuff too. We'll talk to him at 9. Is that when you've got him scheduled for calling in?
He's calling in at 9. It'll be 6 his time.
Oh, yeah, because he's West Coast. He's fancy like that.
I know.
So, in fact, that's actually why I'm drinking. Because we decided we were going to do it. Well, I was going to do a drunk show.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I
probably
just,
why.
It's
been a long week.
I know. It's already approaching my bedtime, too. So yeah, that's the show tonight. It's actually going to be a really good one. So we figure if we're going to leave people hanging for another week.
Yeah.
What have we seen in movies? We've been to the movies lately. We saw Ocean's 8.
We did see Ocean's 8.
Which wasn't...
it was fun.
It wasn't as disappointing as I thought it would be.
We've already talked Solo. I feel like we've seen something more recently. You know what actually comes out this week that we do need to see?
What?
It might be our Friday plans.
Incredibles 2. That's what we haven't talked about.
That's what we haven't talked about. Okay, but Will You Be My Neighbor? That Mr. Rogers documentary on Friday?
I'm already crying.
Yeah, we're just going to buy tissues and go on Friday. Like, this might even get me. I'm just warning you now. This might actually get me. So, and I'm holding your phone, so there's no photographic evidence. So, but yes, we saw Incredibles 2. That was a lot of fun,
you had
actually.
one glistening tear during Coco.
Yes. More during I Am Big Bird, though.
Well, yeah, that's because you have a connection to Big Bird. You never met the Coco people before.
That's true. We're actually going to go meet Big Bird next month, actually. Kind of talking future plans here. Raleigh SuperCon.
That's right.
End of July. So.
And, I don't know if I'm trying to talk you into this or not.
Oh, yeah.
But there is a fan con in Boston that's doing Back to the Future.
What do you think this podcast is? Nationally syndicated? Nope.
I'm just saying, I know it's a fortune. But I'm saying that it might be a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
It might be.
And, I don't know. I'm on the fence because part of me wants to, encourage you to go and to have this amazing experience because it's
a lot of those.
Yeah, I know. It is a lot of those. But, no, I get it. But, so it's $325 to,
per person.
To have it for just Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at what it is for the whole Back to the Future experience.
Right. Tom Wilson, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson.
We'll easily clear $1,000.
Oh, 15.
Easy.
1,500
easy without even thinking about it. And so I don't know if I should be encouraging you to do that or not because we just paid our credit cards off and it's hey, let's celebrate by running them right back up. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's. But see, there's also another problem that you haven't really considered yet, though.
What's that?
Leah Thompson. I mean, I might leave you for Leah
yeah,
Thompson.
No,
she'll be there.
Yeah,
and, I mean, I'm not, I'm not going to be with all my faculties. I could run off with her. It's very possible.
Yeah, you're going to leave me for Leah Thompson. Neil brought up a good point about Big Bird.
Yes.
He almost rode on the Challenger shuttle.
Yeah, that I Am Big Bird documentary is actually really good. They've kind of swept the Being Elmo one under the rug after the whole Kevin Clash stuff. But the I Am Big Bird one is really good. I don't know if it's on Netflix or not, but either way, it's worth buying just for the history and all the background stuff. I mean, Carol Spinney is in his 80s, and he was doing Big Bird up until recently. Matt Vogel took over. I will refrain from going into super Sesame Street Muppet nerd mode like I did with Power Rangers a few weeks ago. But, Carol Spinney has been doing this with his arm for the video folks, holding it high above his head, working Big Bird's head and mouth for... 50 years now? Hold on, no. Yeah, 50 years. Over 50 years because Sesame Street started in the early 60s, I believe. So, yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's a long and very specific career.
It is. Steady, though.
But Sesame Street, Sesame Street at this point is spanning, not the generations are a construct, but,
right.
Many decades of children have been positively impacted with
find someone who hasn't watched Sesame Street.
Yeah, we've all seen Sesame Street. It's very important. I know my best friend's little boy's obsessed with Elmo. And, Sesame Street it's been through a lot of changes and a lot of things. But, I remember being an adult and watching the Big Bird, little segment on bullying. And those other stupid birds were bullying Big Bird. And,
the little tiny birds that are, blue. Or wasn't it the blue or something?
They were the good birds. They were like pigeons.
Okay.
And, gangster pigeons.
But I thought there was one episode where Big Bird painted himself blue because he wanted to be part of the,
That's
the blue.
it.
Oh, that is? Okay.
Yeah, they were saying you're too big. And Abby Cadabby made him smaller. And then, your feet are too big, so she made his feet smaller. And then he said, you're yellow. That's stupid. And he made him blue. And he's all tiny and blue. And I have never wanted to beat up a puppet before. And I was like, stupid birds picking on Big Bird. I was really mad.
I can see you're still harboring some intense rage for that, actually.
I am. Have some... You don't pick on Big Bird.
No, see, the Big Bird episode, we're just going to divulge, internal things now at this point. That Mr. Hooper dying episode, them trying to explain to Big Bird where Mr. Hooper was.
Yeah.
That was rough.
What was harder during the Muppet Show?
Yeah.
Them telling Kermit.
Yeah.
That,
they had the big old special.
That Jim Henson had died. And
yeah. That was the Big Bird singing "It Isn't Easy Being Green." It ain't easy being green at Jim Henson's funeral.
Oh gosh, rip my heart out.
Just look at that. So we'll just leave that at that. So, Kevin Cuffe chiming in here. They're gonna be on here in a few minutes. So stick around while we talk intense feelings apparently.
Alexis, speaking of intense feelings, Alexis needs us to know that she's still recovering from Infinity War. When she and Jake saw Infinity War, she called me from the car and like screeched at me for like 15 minutes.
Is that what that high pitched noise was? I heard like 3 blocks away.
All the dogs were barking.
Okay.
Like, which I understand.
Yeah.
Right. And there was I guess in Detroit, there was a con and, who was it? There were a couple people who were, you know, in the cast of Infinity War who found out about the ending.
Yeah, because a lot of them didn't find out until the premiere.
They didn't know about it until well, obviously they acted in it, so they
acted in it, but they didn't know how it was, and they filmed 2 movies together, so they didn't know how everything was going to be tied together and that kind of thing. So yeah,
they like brought them all into a van, and they basically said, okay,
down by the river.
No, probably there was a river involved, and they were saying like you and you are dead, and then okay, so act it. And they're kind of like, you know, because at this point they're all bonded and they're friends, and you know, they formed on and off screen like relationships and friendships, and you know, so yeah. Oh, Alexis said something about Sesame Street.
I missed that comment.
Yeah, I did
Sorry.
too, but that's okay.
You heard Tom Holland spoiled the what was it, Jurassic World 2 for Chris Pratt? Because apparently Tom Holland's friends with the writers of Jurassic World 2, and before Chris Pratt started production on it, he was like, oh yeah, you know, so-and-so's writing this, and he's like, this is the story. Boom, 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 boom.
Can't take him anywhere.
Tom Holland's the best.
I don't know. Hilarious. I mean, I kind of like when they're like just good, solid people like that. Like he seems like he'd be fun to hang out with.
Oh yeah, he totally is. Like I followed him on Instagram just because he's very just kind of chill and grounded and doing all. I mean, he's, you know, a kid essentially. Well, I mean, for us, he's a kid. So sorry. And he's just, you know, having fun.
Yeah, he's just glad to be here.
And he seems genuinely friends with like everybody on the cast, and everybody has a good time with it. So
right. So while we're waiting for Bob and Kevin, Facebook viewers, log on, tell us what you are watching and listening to and reading and enjoying. We want to know.
Something else new that we've got now.
What's that?
While we're waiting until they call in here, is Instagram. I finally started an Instagram for the Pop page.
It's at Pop Show.
Yes, it is. Well, yeah, I guess at Pop Show. I guess that's the technical way to do it. I was going to do like some URL for some reason.
We're so fancy now, you guys. Yes. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah.
We're like big kids.
Is there anything else that we're missing now at this point?
Twitch.
We have Twitch. We have a Twitch. We just
we're streaming on Twitch at this moment. There's nobody watching, but I am watching just in case someone logs on.
Okay. Well, yeah, we also have Twitch.
People like to talk.
Forgot about that. We do have Twitch, but we don't ever really game on it.
We don't ever game on it. It's because it would be like you running around building fallout shelters and me farming on Stardew Valley every day.
Let's see. Oh, Neil mentioned the new Dead Mall series went up over the weekend.
Oh, nice.
So.
Yeah, we love Dan Bell.
Yes.
Speaking of the YouTubes.
And we actually had Dan Bell on, in our early days.
Yeah, that's where we met, Neil. We, I had 2 great loves. No, I guess 3 great loves on YouTube. There were Dead Malls, there was the Red Hot Nickel Ball, and there was the Hydraulic Press. And we got to speak to 2 of those 3 YouTube content creators. We got to talk to Dan Bell with the Dead Malls. He was an awesome guy, totally nice. And now he is just launched into more and more stardom and fame.
I mean, we don't want to say it was because he got interviewed on Pop Show, but we're not saying it isn't.
I mean, it did happen directly after that.
It did.
And then we also talked to the Hydraulic Press Channel guys.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun.
They were a lot of fun.
Awesome. And now we get to talk to even cooler guys. We get to talk to Kevin and Bob. Let me pull this up here. Let me make sure I'm doing everything. Oh, there we go. It looks good. And we're good. Oh, there we go. Transition screen. How's it going, gentlemen?
Did that work? Are we working?
Yeah, we are working. We are live. You guys, I think we got a little echo on Kevin's TV. But other than that, I can see both of your lovely faces. You guys are right there. We got Bob Frantz next to the Metalshark Bro image. And we got Kevin there with the baseball cap on. How's it going, gentlemen?
Good.
Oh, nope. I think we lost Bob. Bob froze.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm just trying to figure everything out. I'm just trying to make sure all the sound sounds fine and everything is working okay.
Yes, sir. You were holding very still. I was impressed. You were just like a stick. It's impressive. Yeah, see, there you go again.
I'm just going to keep you guessing. Am I frozen or am I just pausing for dramatics?
Oh, Bob has kids. Let it go. Don't be frozen. Let it go.
Oh, don't start with singing.
You see what I did there?
No,
don't. You know what? All right, Sarah, I'm going to tell you, I've never seen that movie.
You are a good man.
Wow. Well, I'm going to go watch it.
You're committing a parenting foul.
Yeah, you really are.
The thing is, I control what they watch, and I control everything they listen to. So if I don't want Frozen in my house, it doesn't have to get in. The only place they saw it at a friend's house. They've never seen it at this house.
Okay. No, there you go. That works out then.
So I will say this: if your kid listens to shitty music, it's because you're a shitty parent. You control everything that they listen to. You can make your kids awesome.
Hashtag parenting advice from Bob.
I'm just telling you, I've got audio of my son singing the Everly Brothers yesterday that we recorded. He's singing Bye Bye Love, and because he loves the Everly Brothers. That's because of me.
Good man. Have you gotten him into the Twilight Singers yet?
No, it's a little too advanced.
Okay.
It's a little too advanced for the boy at this point.
My son likes Imagine Dragons. I have nothing to do with that.
Really?
So, yeah, I have nothing to do with that. I didn't prompt that. So...
Some things can't be helped.
Yeah, that's true. I mean...
Well, I welcome you guys to the show. Kevin, this is your first time. I think, Bob, you've been on before a while back when you were promoting Monty.
I have, but it wasn't this complicated. It was a much easier setup than this. Like I love you and Sarah sitting in your thrones, the lords of pop culture. Like I really dig that.
The sad part is you're only seeing like half of it, dude. I've got so much Ninja Turtle stuff that you aren't seeing right now. You'd be impressed. And I've got Blues Brothers statues. I mean, it's all in here. I'll shoot you some photos after the show.
That's awesome. I look forward to that.
So. Well, gentlemen, you guys are on the show, as we mentioned earlier, to promote your new Kickstarter, Metalshark Bro. We got a little image right there for those watching on the Facebook Live. And, I mean, I don't know, we got Bob over there on the right, Kevin with the hat on. Which one of you guys wants to talk about the comic and kind of the premise behind it?
Bob's going to go first. So.
I was actually deferring to you, but I'll Metalshark Bro was born on a long and lonesome highway in early October 2016. I was driving back from the Hampton Comic Con, the first Hampton Comic Con, and I heard something on the radio about some scientists who were experimenting with sound and sharks, and they put speakers into the water to see how AC/DC's Highway to Hell would react to how the sharks would react to that sound. So I immediately called Kevin. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I said, Kevin, I just heard the dumbest thing in the whole wide world, and we have to put this into a comic. And I explained to him what I just explained to you. And then we spent the next like 8 hours giggling like school children, coming up with this idea and kind of seeing it through to its fruition. And that's God's honest truth how it happened.
That is exactly how it happened. We actually spent like the rest of the time I was at work. I was on my Bluetooth, and we spent the rest of the time I was at work talking about Metalshark Bro.
And it was just to see how far we could push it. Because at first we wanted Metalshark Bro to be a bad guy for Full Moon Fredo, but then Kevin was like, no, this thing deserves its own book. And then we started just kind of spitballing ideas. Well, what if you did this? What if you did this? What if you did this? And so we literally outlined this entire miniseries on 64 while driving back to Cincinnati, Ohio, because that's long, lonely roads out there in West Virginia and Kentucky. So we were able to do all of it. And it was amazing. It really worked out.
That's really cool. You mentioned Full Moon Fredo, which is another series you guys have done. Full Moon Fredo was y'all's first series you guys did together, correct? Because you guys have done a bunch of stuff separately, but never together, right?
No, Kevin and I actually, we've done, we have this here. We did this for the Alterna. It's the If Anthology. We've got a story in this. Okay. We did Full Moon Fredo, and the first book we did together was The Elvis Adventures, which came out in 2015.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I've got got my signed copy right here.
Yes, there you go.
Kevin, I apologize. I did not notice your name on it. There we go. Yep.
Hey, Kevin's name's on there. His name's right after mine.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
We'll see that I got the one issue. I read it and got it signed and, kind of sealed it away. So I kind of forgot. I apologize.
So I'm a noob. No I'm a comic noob. How do you two work on this together? Tell me about that partnership.
Well, a lot of it happened, like I said, on the journey back to to Cincinnati for me, and then Kevin
I don't think that's what she's asking. Are you asking how we work on comics together? Like
Yes.
how we write together?
Well, I mean,
Yes,
I do want to know about this one specifically, but
Okay.
just overall, what is
shut up, Kevin.
No, shut up, Bob. You don't know anything at all.
Well, Kevin's in Williamsburg, Virginia. Bob is in Cincinnati, Ohio. And, you know, so it's not like you guys can just walk down the street or drive to each other's houses and, you know, work on this. So how does the collaboration work, especially from such a distance?
Kevin?
We basically, one of us starts it. Whoever outlines it usually doesn't start it. So whoever outlines it starts, the person who outlines it doesn't start the script. So it depends on who outlines it, mostly. So either he'll outline the idea or I'll outline the idea, and whoever outlines it doesn't start it. And then once we go from the outline phase, we just start scripting, and then we edit each other as we go along. Like, hey, that line of dialogue on page 7 looks rough. Like, maybe we should change this part, or maybe we should do this. And that's pretty much how we get it done until, like, let's say he gets to page 6 that day. Then I'll pick up on page 6 and I'll write to page 12. And then the next 4 or 5 pages might be him. And usually it's an even number, but not all the time. It just depends on who's got more ideas at the time.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's like cool. Wrestling. It's like wrestling. You make a hot tag. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Kevin's winded and he's at the end of a scene. He doesn't know what to do next. So make that hot tag and we get in there, and then the next guy will pick it up and kind of go along from there. It's a really fun idea because part of the fun of collaboration is, I guess, collaboration, if that makes sense. I like to work with groups of people. Comics is very collaborative, but the writing process can be rather lonely and sad. So it's always fun to have another person to kind of bounce your ideas off of. So, you know, they can pick holes in your plots. They can pick holes in your characters. They can make your characters more interesting. They can do all that kind of stuff. And you just kind of do it together, and you world build as you go. And it's just a lot of fun, man. I've really enjoyed the process of working with Kevin. It's a blast.
Yeah, because you guys are both the writers, and you guys, who are the artists on Metalshark Bro?
Right now we have a guy named Walt Osley out of Orlando, Florida. Walt's super awesome. He does a book with Scout called Shiver Bureau, and he's currently doing, how do you pronounce that webcomic he's doing, Kevin?
Hacksaw.
He's doing that online webtoons. You can check out his work. Walt's work is super dynamic and it's really fun. And we've been wanting to work with Walt for quite some time, because what Kevin and I like to do is we come up with a master list of artists, right? Like we go, okay, we like this person's stuff. We like this person's stuff. We like this person's stuff. So we just kind of randomly pitch them ideas as they come up. And we thought that Walt would be good on this book, and he crushed it, dude. Walt's amazing, and we're lucky to have him, and he's a great collaborator, and he's a co-owner, and we're just going to blow this thing up. It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy.
Well, that answered my questions, because I just figured you posted on Craigslist and you got an artist all right off Craigslist there.
Yeah, like stick flyers and like truck stop, bulletin boards.
You post in like coffee shops and stuff. So,
you never know.
So that's really cool. Is it tough collaborating with him? Because since he's all the way down in Florida, none of you guys are close.
No, we have a Facebook chat for the three of us where we discuss ideas, and if Walt has a better idea than what Bobby and I put on the page, then that, like, we're pretty, I wouldn't say we're pretty open to it, we're very open to it. In fact, I would say 9 times out of 10, the artist has a better idea of what we want than we do. So it ends up being way more collaborative than you would have imagined.
Yeah, let me, if you guys don't mind, I'm actually going to throw up some of the art from the pitch that you guys sent me.
Please do. We'll read it, and I will read it in a Skeletor voice, and Bobby will read it in like Keanu Reeves' Point Break as Metalshark Bro.
I heard that's going to be one of the rewards. We're going to do an audiobook of Metalshark Bro. So
that's possible. I'm going to read it in a Skeletor voice. So who doesn't want to hear that?
I'm going to jump in real quick and say that for our podcast listeners who are not putting their eyeballs on this, go check out the video on YouTube or Facebook.
Yes.
And it's not really going to make a lot of sense if you're just listening to this.
We'll use our words as best we can for those just listening to it.
Yes, but paint a picture with your words.
Right now, I've actually got what I believe is the first page up of the first issue where he comes up upon Gandalf.
This is let me stop you there, Keith.
Go for it.
This is page 21 of issue 2, because what we did was, to some people's chagrin, we started with like the most kind of energetic and kind of explosive scene to start with for your pitch.
Smart.
Because sometimes the first 8 pages of your book aren't super exciting because you're setting a table. So what we like to do is we like to kind of start with the most dynamic pitches. So at this point, Metalshark Bro, give you a little background. Metalshark Bro is the story of a shark. He's just a shark swimming along in Bali doing his thing. And unfortunately for him, he eats a rock star. The rock star had sold his soul to Satan, okay? So what happens is Satan's douchey nephew named Beelzebub, who kind of is like a mix of Guy Fieri and David Spade, comes to him and says, look, dude, you ate my uncle's minion. Now you must take his place. And he turns him into this shark dude. And he deems a Metalshark Bro. And the newly christened Metalshark Bro.
Wait. He leaves in Metalshark Bro because he thinks that a shark bro and a dude combined would look cool.
Yes,
that's the only reason why.
It's purely aesthetic. So Metalshark is like, you know what? This sucks. I don't want to be a demon spawn shark, man. I just want to be a shark. And Beelzebub tells him, all right, well, if you go out and you kill 9 people for Satan, I'll turn you back. And he goes out and he does it. But unfortunately for him, Beelzebub tricks him and then sends him to like a faraway realm and yada, yada, yada. And boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl. No, none of that stuff happens. But it's just, it just kind of builds and builds and builds. And eventually, hopefully, we don't know yet, but Beelzebub Metalshark Bro is seeking his revenge against Beelzebub.
It's kind of like if you took TMNT, threw it in a blender with Spinal Tap and Rick and Morty, you get Metalshark Bro.
And Ghost Rider. Don't forget Ghost Rider. There is a sense of Ghost Rider to it. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun, man.
I'm in with all these concepts that you guys have provided me. Everything you mentioned, I enjoy.
We've got some Facebook comments. Neil says, Street Shark vibes, awesome. And Alexis is outraged that you've never seen Frozen.
Yes, I just, it's not my thing, man. Like, I'm not a Disney kid. I was always more of a Warner Brothers kid.
We will. If you back the Kickstarter, Alexis, Bob will watch Frozen.
I can't promise that.
No, I can promise it. I can promise it.
I don't want. I'm not bringing that.
I will be like the enforcer, Arn Anderson. You were watching Frozen.
I'm not bringing that curse. I'm not bringing that curse into my house, baby.
But you might have to for a certain dollar amount, baby. I mean, you don't have more friends than I have shoes.
Kevin never said you had to watch it in your house. He just said you had to watch it.
We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not feeling comfortable. I feel like I'm being bullied into some stuff that I don't really necessarily want to do.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, dude. Let's be honest. I mean, you're doing a few scandalous things for money.
I will.
Let's call it how it is.
For Kickstarter, I'll have to.
Well, talk about your all's Kickstarter, because that's starting up next week.
Starts up July 3rd. July 3rd.
Yes. We're nervous. The best way I can sum up about doing the Kickstarter is we need to pay the people that work on the book other than us to make the book. So we want the book to happen. And so we've gone to great lengths to make sure that we can make this kind of silly book come into the world. So that's what the Kickstarter is for.
Okay. And it starts July 3rd?
Yes,
July 3rd.
We've got some really great rewards. We got some really great artists who are going to be providing some pinups. It's actually going to be like a 96-page graphic novel. So you'll get the whole story, the entire Metalshark Bro saga in one wonderful package. There's going to be like enamel pins and buttons and t-shirts and original art pages and pinups from great artists like Joshua Hood, who is the artist of the critically acclaimed book We Can Never Go Home Again, from Drew Moss, from Tony Gregori, who's working on a book with Vault Publishing now called Deuce of Hearts. We're going to have tons and tons of rewards. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to doing it. I mean, I think this book is really great. The cool part about it, Keith and Sarah, is like people that see the book, they just get amped about it. Like, I know Kevin and I have seen it. Like, they'll pick it up and go, what's this? And we'll tell them and they'll kind of go, huh. And they read that first page. And if they giggle at the first line, we got them.
Yeah. Well, I was reading through I haven't seen the first issue yet because you've only been debuting it at cons and you haven't been to any, I think, around here lately, right? Or have I just been negligent and missed you guys?
It was at Heroes. We we had an ash can printed. We brought it to Heroes. It's the same 7 pages that in the PDF preview we sent you, and it's pretty much the same thing, with just a additional the character designs in there too.
Yes.
On the PDF. Yeah, I thought so. So that's also in the ash can, and we did it just because we were going to be at Heroes, and we're like, well, if we're going to try and ramp up for a Kickstarter, might as well hand out comics in a place where people are here to read and see comic book stuff.
And I enjoyed, what you guys sent me. It was a lot of fun, and it didn't take itself too seriously. I mean, you guys got, obviously it's a anthropomorphic shark and Beelzebub. I mean, you guys just steer into the skid with the complete just ridiculously of it all. I think there was one part about him talking about, at least I'm wearing pants and the front tail. I was.
Well, the front tail joke was we had an artist who was doing some designs for it who was going to work on the book, and for some reason his name is Fred Stressing. Fred's a great dude, but Fred drew the demon goat.
His penis,
he had this he had this huge peen that we didn't even ask for. Like, he just had this gigantic penis, and so we were like, "What are we gonna do with this thing? We can't not mention it." So we kind of brought it up and we made it a joke.
It was like in the and like every shot, so it was like, "Oh wow, there's a lot of demon penis." and I think that was actually mentioned. There's a lot of demon penis in this book. Like, it's like when we advertise it, are we gonna have to like censor it? Is it gonna be like Shirtless Bear Fighter, where we have digitized demon penis? I mean, maybe.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do to get a bookshelf.
But Walt did a better job covering it up, and and I think Walt wrote to the joke because the joke was kind of already there. But yeah, so I mean, like, working with Walt's been really fun. He's a great artist. His colors are like vibrant and imaginative. Like his design work is so strong and just so good. I mean, it's a perfect marriage because the book is just stupid enough. And that's the same thing Walt said when he looked at it. He's like, this is just dumb enough to work. And that's what we feel like Metalshark Bro is. Like, it's dumb. Like, Kevin and I know that this book is kind of stupid, but it's just stupid enough to work. And that's the brilliance of it. That's the genius of it.
Exactly. I mean, some of the craziest ideas that some people don't think are going to take end up becoming giant franchises that, we're still seeing 30 years later.
I would love it, Keith, if in 30 years, Jack, you had like a whole room of Metalshark Bro vinyl pops, because that means Kevin, Walt, and I are rich as fuck, and that would be amazing.
I will buy each and every Metalshark Bro pop that there is.
He will. He absolutely will. You could
much to your chagrin.
You could hack up the Moana ones in the meantime. You know how they do the...
Oh, yeah, like clay and do my custom pops.
Bob,
to make them.
have you seen Moana?
I have. I really enjoyed Moana.
Okay,
I liked
good.
All right, you're still good.
Yeah, you're in.
I want to see some Metalshark Bro cosplay. That's when you know you've made it, I think. I mean, yeah, pops are one thing, but I think Metalshark Bro cosplay with the front tail thing and Demon Peen, I think you'll be set. I think that'll be the
make it happen, man. You can do this.
Hey,
we look like a Metalshark Bro.
I think I could speak for Kevin here. Before we get to cosplayers, I just want to get the Kickstarter out there. Because there won't be cosplayers or pops or any of that stuff unless we reach our goal.
Get this funded, yeah.
Unless we get this funded. So July 3rd, it's going to be live on Kickstarter. We're going to have some really great rewards. I'm really excited about it. Metalshark Bro, the original graphic novel. It's going to be nuts, man. Like, we're really trying to do something very fun and very cool. And just go with it, and hopefully it catches like fire, son, like fire.
Just remember, you need fins with them fireworks.
Well, speaking of the Kickstarter and like some of the exclusives, is there going to be? This is coming straight from Greg of Local Heroes. Is there going to be a retailer exclusive level for the Kickstarter?
Greg,
Greg, for you, baby, we will do it.
Greg, I will come to your store and sign books at your store if you pledge to this Kickstarter, Greg.
And you have to play Frozen the entire time we're there.
That's fine. I'll be too busy talking to Greg and signing books.
Well, Greg told me to make it happen, so he also told me to make sure that you start up your own comic shop while you're at it. So I mean,
that's what he said. Him and I need to talk about that too, because then my problem's solved. Then I'll just sell all my own books, and Kevin and I.
I'll just come to visit and sign comics.
That'd
be great.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, you guys are well, Bob, you're gonna be in town soon, so maybe we can.
I will.
Greg this is what you got to get Greg to talk to Greg about. He's actually had what was it, Jim Rugg, I believe. Is that the writer? Yeah, he had Jim Rugg at the at Local Heroes. Had this big old night, had drinking, had food. It was great. I think we need to have a Bob Frantz night at Local Heroes.
Well, we'd have to have Kevin and Walt there too, because we're a super Metalshark Bro team. But I mean, I'm willing to go anywhere, man. I will do anything that it takes. I know Kevin will. I know Walt will, because we believe in this book. We have some publishers that are interested in the book, which is nice. So it's
for a change, it is.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we got some stuff shaking, we got some stuff moving, and we're just gonna get this thing done and see where it goes, man.
Also, what we should tell them about is like some of the cool stretch goal ideas once we get past the original goal. Like Bob, Walt, and I are all willing to tattoo Ira, the little eye, bat-winged eye guy that is Metal Shark's sidekick. We're all willing to get an Ira tattoo.
And it's also cool too. And don't forget too, we also have like stretch goals that are content provided. So like
we do.
We've got people lined up to write Metalshark Bro stories and artists to do it, because people just want to get involved because they think it looks fun. And that's what we're going for here, man. Fun.
What level?
More content, tattoos, and I'll actually eat a Toa Satan lollipop if we get to a certain amount of funding.
I just think you want to do that. That's just Kevin likes hot food.
What kind of
do like hot food, but I mean, I'll do it. I'll endure the pain for you guys.
You look so sleepy today, Kevin. You look so sleepy.
I worked all day. Yeah.
I know your eyes are barely open. Look at you.
My eyes are open, bro.
But when you're talking, you're real sincere. And you close your eyes. It's like you're like an R&B singer. I'm really into it.
I don't understand. Do we not like lollipops?
That's what I was going to ask. What kind of lollipop was it you mentioned?
Like a special lollipop?
It sounds like it's a hot, spicy lollipop.
Look up Toe of Satan. And
Toe of Satan.
It's 9 million Scoville units.
Oh, that sounds unpleasant. I don't even know what
that
is.
Really high.
That's too many. Too many Scoville units.
A book about a shark from hell. Might as well have a lollipop from hell.
Sure, why not? I can dig it.
Yeah, no, it's on theme.
What level do I have to donate where I voice a character? It doesn't have to be main character. It can be like a side character.
For the inevitable animated series.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what, Keith, we'll talk, but we also have like rewards because Metalshark Bro has to kill a bunch of people, so you can either appear on Metalshark Bro's list to be killed, or you could actually get killed in the book by Metalshark Bro. We got it all.
As long as I am dressed like a blues brother when Metalshark Bro kills me, I'll be set. I will have achieved my life goals.
Would that
I believe Walt takes requests.
Yeah, I'm putting you in the book.
Would that make me a Metalshark widow?
Yes, you'll be a Metalshark
Widow.
I would
be a Metalshark
which is actually the spin-off series they're planning for that. For like, it's going to focus on all the
that's
widows.
A really great idea, Keith.
Actually, I like that idea. I think you could dress as the bride. I think, Sarah, you would be like the bride from the Tarantino movies, and you're going to go after Metalshark. Like, that's pretty amazing.
Oh,
that's you know what? You just wrote the sequel right there. Boom, Metalshark Bro, the sequel.
Metalshark Bro 2, Metal Widow Bride.
More metal.
And it's funny that you do that, Sarah, because that's how Kevin and I kind of work. Like, we'll say something that seems like the dumbest thing in the entire world, and not saying what you were saying was dumb, but just ridiculous and ludicrous and just kind of silly, just to see what happens. And one of us will go, "That's fucking great," and then we'll just go with it. You never know, man. You never know.
Our listener Jessica named it Metalshark Broad.
Boom, Metalshark. I dig it.
Done.
I did it.
And Bob, she's dating me. I mean, so the level of ridiculous bullshit that has been said around this household is plenty high. Don't worry.
No, I got a sense of humor. I got it.
Exactly. Yeah, you're dating me.
It's true.
So how many issues do you guys plan?
Also with the Metalshark broad comment, I mean that's a great title. I mean, we might have to steal that.
Bob. I think it'll work.
We'll give you credit. We'll give you writer's credit. We'll give you like $200, like the guy who invented the black Spider-Man costume. The guy sent it into Marvel, and they gave him like $200. It was like, yeah, cool. Here's like $50 and some gift cards. Hit it, kid. Beat the street, kid.
And I mean, you're talking to two guys who had Elvis fight a giant monster banana. So
that is very true.
Well, these are the benefits of watching the show live on Facebook. Jessica, who suggested that name, is giving all the little praise hands. So, see on her way.
You've already got another fan right there.
There you go. All right. But yeah, so
thank you, Jessica.
Launching this thing July 3rd. I'm really excited about it. I think this book is going to be fantastic. And I'm not just saying that because Kevin and I and Walt created it. Like, this book is going to be great. It's going to be really big. We've got some big ideas. We got big things planned. It's going to be super fun. And so if you like comics, if you like ridiculous things, then I think Metalshark Bro would be the book for you.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to it. We'll be making sure to post the link and, try to get it out to everybody throughout how long is the campaign going? A month? 2 months?
1 month.
1 month.
1 month,
okay.
I believe. Yeah.
30 days, Daddy. We got 30 days to raise like $15,000.
Woo! All right.
I mean, you know what, man? Like I said, the idea is just dumb enough to work, and I think it works. So we'll see what happens.
No, it'll definitely work. We will be pushing this thing out, and we will make sure to have you guys on, depending on availability and when you guys are around, either during the campaign as one more reminder, and maybe we'll have you guys on after the campaign to kind of talk about the rundown and how much money you guys made, Jack.
Where it all went wrong.
Nah. I'll just next time we call you guys are just gonna be swimming in like bins of money, a la Scrooge McDuck, man. I'm telling you.
We make comics, that doesn't happen.
You know what we're gonna do the next time you guys come on? We're gonna Mad Libs a Metalshark story for you.
Right,
oh, that'd be great.
And then Patrick says if you don't credit Jessica, it'll be Metalshark fraud.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
And
all the Metalshark puns at this point.
Neil says that you need to end the comic by saying fin, because it's a shark.
That's good. It's very artsy. It's very artsy. I like it.
So before we let you guys go, where can they find you in the meantime? Facebook, Twitter, until your Kickstarter goes live, where can they keep an eye on your amazing work?
I am on Instagram as the _right_Cuffe, and then I'm also on Twitter as Kevin_Cuff.
And then Metalshark Bro, you can find it on Facebook. It's just facebook.com/Metalshark Bro. I'm on Twitter, bfrantz19. It's also my Instagram account. So yeah, man. So we're doing it. We got a lot of stuff shaking. Hopefully this thing will get, it'll blow up and we'll have a lot of fun and we can make sequels and give every one of your listeners their just due.
Nice.
We can all say we've been killed by a anthropomorphic shark that plays metal.
It's an honor.
Yeah, no, it has been an honor to have you guys on. We really appreciate you guys calling in. I'm glad we got the Skype to work. Glad we got to see y'all's lovely faces. And Kevin, anytime you want to come in on the show, since you're local, any Tuesday night you want to come in and just hang out and be a guest and talk about whatever, you are more than welcome. Bob,
great.
Anytime you're in, anytime, man. Bob,
Next time I'm in town, we go on a Handsome Biscuit, baby.
Oh, yes. Let's go to Handsome Biscuit. Let's get them sweet potato biscuits, man. All right, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
Later, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you,
Bye.
Keith.
Bye, guys.
Man, those guys are the best.
Well, I mean, I'm giggling with them just talking about the... it's a sort of thing where it's just absurd, but like in a hilarious way. And like you said, just stupid enough to work.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's, it's one of those things where heck, the Turtles were they referenced the Turtles and being a mashup with, Rick and Morty. And those are two prime examples of the Turtles, for example. Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird were just hanging out, goofing off after watching TV late at night, and we're parodying Daredevil and Marvel Comics, and they came up with the Turtles, and now we're still seeing Turtle stuff 30 years later. Not a trailer, but the intro theme just dropped earlier today, and and Rick and Morty became kind of a spoof of Marty McFly and Doc Brown, and has become its own little thing, and it's bringing back McDonald's Szechuan sauce. So
yeah. Comics can do some amazing things. And,
really
all
can.
of the people on our live feed are excited about it.
Good. Well, we will make sure as soon as that Kickstarter goes live, we will make sure to post it up there for everybody. And make sure you guys donate. And hopefully we can, get them out here. Kevin's local. Bob's back in town every so often because he's got family in town. Bob's from this neck of the woods.
Yeah, we'll make sure they get the info when we get it.
Yeah, so maybe we can have Kevin on the show and kind of get an update one day.
Totally.
In the middle of July.
I love that.
Going for a month here. So, you want to talk about our next guest while I try to coordinate some stuff?
I'm so excited about our next guest, you guys. So, I don't know if you are a connoisseur of comedy or alcoholic beverages like I am. I do enjoy a glass of wine.
I like booze.
Yeah.
I've got a Moscow Mule right here.
I do.
And before anyone says, I know it's not a copper mug, but I've got 2 in that instead of having to refill. So, I prepared for tonight's show by drinking.
Anyway, being a big fan of both, I latched on early to Drunk History when I saw I saw some of the web shorts, and then when the show started on Comedy Central, I cannot remember laughing so hard in my life. Like I loved Drunk History. It was one of my favorites. So I was going around on Twitter, or I can't even remember, but somehow I came across Mark Gagliardi, who was the first ever drunk historian, and reached out to him, did a cold call, was like, hey, we're big fans. Love if you come on the show. If not, that's cool too. We still love you. And lo and behold, he was like, yeah, totally. And let me just tell you, my brains are still on my office wall. But he's here.
Yeah,
What's up, y'all?
How's it
Can
going?
You hear me okay?
Yes, sir. We can hear and see you just fine, man. Thanks for calling in. Really
Wonderful.
appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
So it is great to have you on. We're glad you responded. We, have been going back and watching old episodes. We've been kind of keeping up, and you've actually got a new episode tonight too. Actually, that's airing tonight, right?
I have an episode airing actually in 1 hour on the East Coast.
Okay.
And at 10 o'clock on the West Coast.
Drunk History holds up well. I mean, I know it's...
Yeah, the stories aren't particularly timely for a moment.
Right. But, it's... I don't know why. It's just always hilarious. Some of them are hit and miss, and then some of them, like, I, quote, which just seems silly to quote drunk people, but, it's awesome.
Oh, it's drunk people being, hopefully being smart.
Well, right.
Yeah,
so,
and informative, too.
That's true. And you know what? I've actually I've learned more from your crowd that, like, has stuck with me in adulthood than probably a lot of what I learned from my very esteemed and well-respected teachers. Not that I didn't love them, but, they probably needed the booze a little more.
Yeah.
They're not going to get into the down and dirty stuff.
That's right. So, so Mark, let's start at the beginning. So you're from Tennessee, which is basically our next door neighbor here in Virginia. And
right. What part of Virginia are y'all in?
We are on the coast.
Norfolk and Virginia Beach, that neck of the woods.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
My godmother is a nun there. Shout out to Sister Mary Carmela.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Where is that located? I actually don't think I've heard of it.
Virginia Beach.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Wow. Small world.
So when you were talking to your high school guidance counselor there in Tennessee, was drunk historian an option for your career path?
They never mentioned it. It turns out it was an option.
Well, yeah, life is full of surprises.
In the moment, I apparently was not an option, because you'd think they would have mentioned it. Or maybe they knew that I would immediately go in that direction and be like, well, yeah, that's going to be my job then.
So how did you get there?
I got there because one night Derek Waters called me. We were buddies. We've been friends for a long time. And he called me up and he said, hey, you know history. I said, yeah. He said, I want you to tell a story from history. I said, okay. He said, but I want you to be really, really drunk when you do it. And I was like, oh, all right. And he said, then we'll get actors to reenact the way that the History Channel gets actors to reenact. You'll say things and they'll do the look and maybe even mouth it, and then just kind of threw the idea at me, and I loved it. And I said, sure. And then we shot that in my living room in 2008. And I threw up that night on the bed and on the couch.
All right.
Well, what was the drink of choice for that first night then?
A full bottle of Johnny Walker Black.
Ooh, all right. We're going high end. I like it.
That was a terrible idea. So I had a very angry girlfriend because there was, with no couch and no bed, nowhere for us to sleep. So we wound up sleeping on the floor that night.
Occupational hazard.
But look at the empire that it has built.
Seriously, 10 years later, look at where you are.
Forgive the dinging. I know, right? 10 years later in the same spot.
No, bigger and better spot. Because if you go back and watch that, first video, like, it's not shot in widescreen. It's definitely full screen. It's an old camcorder. I mean, I don't know what you guys recorded on it, but you can tell it was very much a product of its time and technology. And you guys are now on a nationally syndicated cable channel, essentially.
And you got baller guests. And
Oh, it's a great time. I'm not complaining. I love the show.
Yeah, I'm jealous. And you've been on every one episode at least every season. And in season 3, you actually pulled acting duty too, which is pretty cool.
I did. That was the first time I ever got to do the reenactment scene.
Yeah. Do you prefer that over the storytelling, or do you prefer the storytelling to the acting?
Oh no, I mean I prefer the storytelling, of course.
Okay, good. Just checking.
So,
It's way easier.
do you guys get prepped? Like, do you get kind of a script to put in your brain? Obviously, you're not going to remember it. Or do you do research and you say, okay, you're going to talk about the KKK and Superman. Did you look that up, or did you sort of have something ahead of time that you had to kind of try to remember?
So every year that I've done it, and every episode that I've done, every season Derek gives me a list of topics and asks me to pick. And invariably, the one that I pick he laughs and he goes, "I knew you were going to pick that one."
He knows his audience.
It was like a police lineup where you know the one suspect, but going down the line, you've got to give them all a shot. And so when he said, "You want to do Superman versus the Ku Klux Klan?" I was like, "Of course I do."
How could you not pick that?
And there's a book out that the guy wrote. Stetson Kennedy wrote a book. What I'll do is once I get the story, I'll just go crazy researching. And the show has Greg Tukulescu, who is the producer, who's the historian that works with us on all of the stories. But I always liked my conversations with him because he'll get really in depth with it because he knows these stories, because his job is to talk to, because there's a lot of people every season. His job is to talk to all the people, make sure they've got the story correct.
He's got to steer you guys in the right direction if you get off track.
Yeah, exactly. And authenticity is key. The stories have to be factually accurate.
That's awesome.
That's what I've been really impressed about. Is like, like Sarah said, you learn little things that they don't really tell you about. That you should know these things,
right? And everything's a 2-screen experience, right? So we'll see something on Drunk History and be like, "Is that true?" And then pull out our phones and Google it, and it is, and it's like
it's impressive what you.
This
guys
is a weird
2-screen experience.
Yeah, 2-screen experience.
Yeah, we've got you guys up on our TV screen. We've got, the information in the Wikipedia page and whatever else we can find on our phones.
I love that phrase, and I'm trying to now think of what my 2-screen experiences are. The Tonys every year are a 2-screen experience for me.
Yep.
Right.
Anytime there's live tweeting going on.
Totally.
And now I don't know how many screens I'm on.
I know, it's multiple screens. So
it's limitless.
Right on.
So the Superman episode, you got to show off your pretty impressive drunk but also sober your voice is amazing, and you do some voice acting.
Thanks. Yeah, I do a lot of cartoons now, and all of it came out of a show called The Thrilling Adventure Hour, which The Thrilling Adventure. Have you guys heard of The Thrilling Adventure?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah, went for 10 years.
Right on. Oh, right on. Very cool. Yeah, so we did this show at Largo. I don't know how many of your listeners know about it, viewers. We did the show at Largo with the Coronet for 5 years, and before that we'd done it at M-Bar for 5 years, but we podcasted over 5 years of the show. Was a fake old-time radio show where we had different characters every month. I had one character that went all the way through the 10 years, and then a million other characters that I played throughout on the thing. And through people that would come to see the show or people who became friends of the show and would get involved, that was how I've gotten any work that I've gotten in cartoons. It all came out of relationships that I made doing these voices in the shows. But yeah, I got to be Batman for a little while. That was awesome. They were rebooted Super Friends. I got to do a couple of seasons of Venture Brothers with Jackson Public and Doc Hammer.
Cool.
A blast, because those guys, they are so smart and have such a great grip on the world of their show that it's so much fun to play in that world, because we would get to improvise in sessions and play around, and because it's Jackson is the one and Doc are the two on the other side of the glass, and we just start improvising bits. Who knows what's going to wind up in the season.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that radio background, that live theater kind of the podcast that you guys did probably really helped with that too. Because you project very well. I mean, you've got that voice for it. It's awesome.
You also did some voices on. I was sort of stalking you a little bit today on Bridge Crew, which is one of Keith's games.
Yeah, the Star Trek VR. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, good. Yeah, I play Captain Salvok on that show.
Awesome. Okay. Well,
on that game.
Yeah.
So when you need a supply ship, I'm the Vulcan that runs the supply ship.
I can hear it now, actually. I'm going to go back and play it now.
I know,
I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I've talked to that guy now.
Well, now I've lost him to
Captain Smallpox,
VR.
who sounds remarkably like Croaks the Tracker.
Yep, I'm having flashbacks. Yep, no, that's him. Yeah. But you mentioned the Batman thing. We actually stumbled across a video you did with John Ennis, Paget Brewster, Mark Jacobson, right?
Mark Evan Jackson.
Yeah, Mark Evan Jackson. Sorry, and that was hilarious. What was that for? Like, how? I mean, it was Nerdist that put it out, but it was just something you guys came up with, or what was that?
No, it was some guy wrote it, and we were doing some stuff with Nerdist, and like they produced the Thrilling Adventure Hour podcast, and it was one of these, like, they have comedy writers there. They just had a staff of comedy writers. And this guy wrote a thing, and there was a director attached, and it was just a fun short for no reason other than let's make a great, funny short.
Well, we think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious because we are always joking because, the Batman origin stories has been told plenty of times at this point.
Yeah, no, we know what happens to Batman's parents.
And so it's always been kind of our bit. It was like, oh, his parents were dead? We had no idea. And so the fact that you guys had this video where his parents came back and you immediately throw that batarang. It was, I was weak. It was hilarious.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a fun shoot, and it's fun to work with Jackson and Paget because we've been friends from Thrilling Adventure Hour for so long. To get to play with those guys was a lot of fun. And sit opposite. I'll tell you one thing I don't love about that process, and it drives me crazy, because we're so used to playing on stage together that when we are acting opposite each other in a single camera setting, it's so hard to not jump into stage rhythms. Yeah. But you have to leave that space for editing and all that. Right. Because you're getting all kinds of coverage and moving from every angle. But it was I saw myself chomping at the bit trying to keep the timing going stage style. Yeah. Luckily, Jackson and Paget know what they're doing, and they're like, it's cool, calm down.
Well, now with that stage style, does that, I forgot where I read it. I don't know if Sarah mentioned it to me or if I read it somewhere. The National Lampoon and Second City, I mean, that was kind of sort of your background and your love kind of growing up with comedy. I mean, you want to talk about that a little bit and how you kind of got into it because of it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I went to college in Chicago. I went to acting school there. And when I was in school, Second City was a big thing. I had started improvising some in high school and watched Whose Line Is It Anyway and enjoyed that. But it wasn't until I saw Second City in Chicago. Back then it was Tina Fey and Rachel Dratch and Scott Adsit and Kevin Dorff and Jenna Jolovitz and Jim Zulovic. Like, it was just
that's a heavy hitter lineup right there.
Yeah, it was an amazing lineup. And that crew all kind of went on to huge things. So for me to be going at that time, and that was the version of it that I saw, I was like, oh, well, this is what this is what I want to do, is this stuff. And so the school, luckily, we had some improv. They didn't let us do anything besides take the classes at the school. You weren't allowed to go train at some other place. Okay. So I would go and watch Second City and dream of joining up. And then as soon as I graduated, I went to Second City in LA and I went through all the classes there. But yeah, that was a big part of it. And then through that was where I met Ben Acker, who created Thrilling Adventure Hour and launched me into that world. It all sort of interconnected in a crazy way. And still, Craig Kukowski, who is from Second City and the Thrilling Adventure Hour, is one of the regular reenactors on Drunk History.
Nice. Yeah. Our viewer, Patrick, wants to know what your favorite Herald opener is. Also, probably tell me what that is.
A Herald is an improv structure, for those who don't know. It's basically three different scenes that play out over the course of half an hour with some things intermingling throughout. But the opening is the way to get all the suggestions. And a fun way that I like to open, I like pulling someone up from the audience to conduct a story. I like using short form game styles to open a long form set, because it just gives it a little bit of flavor to start. Cool. But anytime you can have word association, just to get whatever generates as many ideas as possible. That's my biggest thing that I want out of that.
Okay, that makes sense. Patrick is big in our local improv theater here called Push Comedy Theater. Right. Yeah, so that would explain why it's called Push Comedy Theater. in downtown Norfolk in the Neon District.
Love it. When are the shows?
You know, they're all the time. Yeah, they do some. They have improv classes that are amazing. I'm too chicken to take one, but you know, there's so.
Oh, come on!
There's
you can
so
do it.
the Pushers are just totally an institution around here, and they
The Pushers.
Yeah, the Pushers, of course. And they do improv classes of multiple levels, and they also do some sketch comedy writing and have some sketch teams as well. Their all girl troupe is called Panties in a Twist, and that always gets everyone going, and it's so much fun. And now all of our viewers are telling me to take improv now, and I blame you. Oh
yes. See, look. Here's the thing about taking an improv class: is anyone can take an improv class. I took a workshop with the guy who founded Second City, and it was in my workshop was a cop, this crazy drifter dude, 2 business people from Indianapolis, like just and like 3 or 4 actors, but it was a pretty small group, and like anybody in any world can do it and get something out of it. It's the best communication technique.
Well, next time you're in Virginia Beach, come to a Push show. They're 8 and 10 every Friday and Saturday.
Awesome. Well shouted out.
Nice.
Give it up for
So like, tell me what you're doing now. What are you still doing voice work, or are you like looking for your next gig, or what's the transition? What are we in?
Well, it is very weird timing that I'm doing this show right now, because I'm not really allowed to announce anything, but in a week I am moving out of the country for 5 months to shoot.
Okay. Mystery project.
That is a great tease.
Yeah, it's a mystery project. It's going to be a lot of fun. What's funny is I'll probably be able to say more even tomorrow, but as of right now, this moment, I can't.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure to keep an eye on your, I guess you would mention that on Twitter. We'll make sure to push it out for everybody. So
definitely
awesome. I'm sorry I can't I'm running for president. Yeah, I'll make an announcement on the show.
No, we totally understand. We don't. You guys have got contracts. You got to sign certain things and sign lives away.
Don't be another Tom Holland and blow it all for everybody.
Exactly. Don't be a Tom.
Right.
So now you're
what did he blow? Was it Infinity War?
Yeah, Infinity War, and he also blew the Jurassic World 2 for Chris Pratt, because apparently Tom Holland knew the writers for Jurassic World 2 and was talking to Chris Pratt about it while they were filming Infinity War. It's like, oh yeah, this, here's the script, here are the story plot points, and Chris is like, dude, I haven't even started production yet. So it was Tom Holland ruining everything.
I know.
Come on, you can't get mad at that kid.
Oh no, I'm not mad. I'm
so
teasing
adorable.
Him. I like Tom Holland.
He's
great.
Adorable.
He is adorable. So, fun fact about you and I, Mark, we fold our socks the same way, which is really weird thing that I just said.
Sock grenades.
Yeah,
the correct way.
That's right.
See, I don't do the sock grenade. I do the sock Molotov cocktail. Like I leave a little bit out on the toe.
That's like the sock grenade, but with more sock hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, Mark gets
Just
it.
the sock grenade on the end.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I feel like, or maybe a sock tadpole. I don't know. Is it a sock Molotov cocktail? Sounds more fun.
It sounds more aggressive.
Sure.
That too. So.
It does.
If you've got to take your socks into warfare, then the Molotov cocktail is the way to go.
Well, we stumbled across that video when you said you were going to come on the show. What was it for? What was that sock grenade video for? Just for fun?
So that is part of my podcast that I've been doing with my friend Hal Loveland.
Okay.
It's called We Got This with Mark and Hal, and we drop new episodes on Maximum Fun every Tuesday night. We have a huge back catalog of episodes. You guys should check it out. We interviewed Weird Al. We interviewed Nathan Fillion. We've gotten Janet Varney on the show. Paul F. Tompkins came on the show. Just with some really amazing guest stars. And we settle arguments and pointless debates.
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Well, those are important. I mean, we chew on that stuff for years. By the way, Vanessa agrees with us. The grenade is the way to go.
Yeah, we got some listeners chiming in saying that's the way to fold their socks.
That's absolutely how it should
go. In a drawer. If you put that in a drawer, it's super easy.
Oh, it
is. Yeah, I used to fold my socks a long time ago. Then I learned the right way.
That's right. And then I came into your life. Yeah. And now everything's better.
It's true. It's very true.
So, Mark, we will be looking for your exciting announcements in the next few days.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So tell us a cool story from Drunk History before we let you go, because I can't go without having some like amazing Derek Waters story or Paget Brewster or one of these crazy people you work with.
Yeah, because you guys have an awesome crew. Like every time we see like someone pop back up, we're like, oh, it's that person again. They were on this episode. So you guys have got like a cool knit community, at least within that show. It seems like
it's a fun. Basically, it's just Derek's buddies.
I like that.
Yeah. So when you see like episodes all around the country and going into apartments in those towns, frequently that is the case. And it is also frequently the case that those are buddies in Los Angeles. Or a bunch of buddies in New York as well. Let's see, a fun story from the set. Well, my set is always, I'm only there when I'm doing my episodes.
Right.
And it is always really fun at first. And then really exciting while we're shooting, and I'll reach a point where I feel a certain amount of drunk, and I'll see everyone like come to order, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess this is it. And then there comes a point that I do not remember. And the last time, this episode actually that's airing tonight, I remember coming to at one point during the thing and seeing a bottle or a half a bottle of Bullet on the counter. I said, Derek, we only went through half a bottle. And he shook his head and he went, man, don't you remember they had to go buy a second bottle? Yeah, so we tear into it. I always lie on the floor. I've been trying to get better about not being the guy that lies on the floor.
I mean,
since the very beginning, I always lay down.
I mean, if you got a thing, I mean, that's what you got to do. I used to lay on the floor as well when I got drunk. I was like, all right, everything's spinning. I'm just going to lay on the floor. This will stop things from spinning.
Yeah, I know
obviously.
That's not going to spin.
Yeah, exactly. You know that's a fixed object. You're safe.
Exactly.
So
these people need to understand us.
Yeah, seriously. We're just misunderstood artists right here. That's all we
are.
That's all it is. How long does it take to record an episode? Like how long? I mean, because, you guys are getting drunk and, Neil asked a question if you've ever heard of anyone getting too drunk to record an episode. You guys are getting drunk.
We did one episode early on, before it was a TV show, where they got a bunch of the drunks to reenact or to recite "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Yes.
And if you ever saw that episode, it was Jim Carrey and Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
And Eva Mendes as well. Yeah, it was a great episode.
And Alan McLeod was the narrator.
Uh-huh.
And, but there were, I think, 4 of us narrating it, going back and forth. And Derek put it together, and then he called me and he was like, man, you guys got so drunk. No way you were going to get through that. Only one person made it all the way through. So it became Alan was the one that they just went with his. Because he was the one that stayed coherent enough to actually tell the story.
That's good to know. I never knew that about that episode.
Well, never read the YouTube comments, but if you ever do, there's a lot of allegations that you're not actually drunk. You're just good actors or bad actors.
That's very kind. I wish we were that good at acting.
Do you have a drink of choice now? I mean, you mentioned Johnny Walker Black Label the first episode. I mean, is there
Bullet? You're a bourbon guy?
Well, Bullet, I'm a bourbon guy. I like Four Roses a lot. Just original OG Four Roses. It's an $18 bottle of bourbon at my bodega in New York, but it is the smoothest bourbon I've ever had.
Well, there you go.
Well, now we've got to go buy a bottle of Four Roses
and watch a bunch of episodes. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, no, we'd probably be doing
budget drinking advice.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, actually, I have one more question. I don't know what else you've got.
Go for it.
How long does it take? I mean, you guys, we see, the 24-minute version of it. How long does it take to film that stuff? Because, trying to wrangle everybody in when they get drunk and they're falling over furniture, climbing things.
Right. It's usually 2 drunks in a day.
Okay.
Everybody knows they're there to do television, so everybody's trying to be focused.
Okay.
People aren't running around crazy. It's just and that's what I think what makes the show funny is the simple but impossible task of just trying to stay focused.
Yeah.
And not being able to effectively do it.
I got this, guys. I got this.
Exactly.
Well, like I know there was an episode with Jenny Slate and like her dog started barking. So like you see the episode divert into her trying to corral her dogs for like 30 seconds, and then it comes back to her telling the story. So
that's with Derek barking in the background.
Yeah, inventing
as the bartender. Was it the Coca-Cola bartender?
Coca-Cola.
Yep. Well, that was the episode we watched the other day.
I lived in Atlanta when that episode came out, and it was factual.
That was the Atlanta episode. The same episode as Stetson Kennedy.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. It was.
That's why it's fresh in my memory.
Heck yeah, Atlanta.
So awesome. Well, Mark, I appreciate you coming on, man. I hope we didn't take up too much of your time. I appreciate you calling in. It's,
not at all.
It's right
this
at dinner
fun.
time for you guys. So it's I appreciate your maps in the background too. I don't know if anyone's really noticed.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I don't know if you just like.
I'm a big fan of maps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the antique
this
style.
This doesn't have glass on it, so I can stick pins in it. But I haven't stuck the pins in it because I kind of like the way it looks without them. Yeah. Plus, I haven't been to a ton of places, so it'll look a little weak right now.
Well, I like it, dude. I dig it. I like old maps of like Norfolk and Virginia Beach because as you know, it has a whole history. It's really old and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's got a lot of cool old city maps that I like. So I'm digging it. But and next time you're in Virginia Beach, if you're coming out here to visit, just let us know. We'll give you a tour of the area. We'll be happy to show you around. So.
I'm going to bring my nun with me.
Yeah.
Hey, sounds good. We'll keep it kosher.
We'll go to a push show. Say hi to Patrick.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you calling in, man.
Mark.
Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks. Bye. And that was Mark Gagliardi, everybody. Let me transfer back over. Whoops. There we go.
Oh, that was fun.
That was fun.
I always wanted to know that about Drunk History. Like if they got a script ahead of time. It is so cool to know that they actually talk to historians.
Yeah,
that makes me.
I mean,
really...
I wasn't sure if Derek like brought up a script form or like, hey, here are the bullet points I want to hit, or if they're on their own to kind of study this stuff. So it was cool to see that.
Yeah, it was, and like I feel like there are some stories that I know historically. Like if you ask me, I mean, we're in coastal Virginia, right? So we know about the Jamestown. Yeah. But I don't think that I could tell it sober even really and be accurate with it. But that was so cool. I'm so glad I got to, because I'm a huge fan of Drunk History, and
he was really cool for coming on.
Yeah, definitely really cool. You never know where those cold emails are going to get you.
And now we know we need to go buy 4 roses, which is good because I think that Moscow Mule was the last of my vodka, so I need a new bottle of something.
It's all over. Well, Patrick says that he also loves the show, especially now that he knows it's all accurate. And awesome.
Neil said it was a good get. Yeah, it was. We had a really good show today.
Good fun.
That's what we get for taking a week off and kind of rounding everybody up. We had Greg, we had Bob, we had Kevin, we had Mark Gagliardi. It's a jam-packed show.
It was. I know, too many stars. Well, this means we have to take next week off.
Does it?
I mean, we would anyway.
It's 4th of July.
It's the 4th of July anyway. Yeah, we'd have to take next week off anyway. But we will be back the second week in July.
Yeah.
The third week in July. I don't
know.
July
10th, I believe.
July.
Does that sound right?
Okay. We'll be back.
I'm gonna say that sounds right. Yeah, July 10th.
Right. And yes, we will be back July 10th. Everybody have a fun and safe 4th of July Independence Day if you're in the United States, 4th of July if you're anywhere else.
Yes.
Have a fun and safe summer.
For sure.
It's cool.
And if, since we'll be off next week, if you want to keep up with us, where can they find you on Twitter or whatever?
I can't tell this information until you start the outro.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I should probably be professional and, do our thing.
That's right.
So
we have a whole theme song that's by a Richmond, Virginia DJ who does awesome mixes of video game music called Fingers. F1NG3RS. We love him. Look him up. Oh, there it is. Now I can tell you where to find us.
And he actually went to E3 lately. So if you find him on Facebook, he actually had a video where he went to E3.
Well,
and got to...
Fingers is awesome. He's the artist behind, him and Nintendo are the artists behind this awesome mix. You can find us on Facebook Live most Tuesdays. Facebook.com/pop show. We also keep that populated with the latest in pop culture news 7 days a week. And we love talking about it. So get on there, see something you like, comment, and you'll get somebody responding to you. If it's not us, it's one of our many fans.
For sure.
You can also follow us on Twitter @PopShow. See our writings and ramblings, including movie, TV reviews at popshow.com. And download the podcast, Podbean, Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher.
Yeah, and a new addition, Instagram @PopShow.
Oh, and Twitch and YouTube. We're everywhere. Just find us.
Pops Show.
Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We had a lot of fun tonight.
Awesome. See you guys in 2 weeks. Until next time.
Bye.